What other thing? Don't want to hear anything. Okay, I think we're live. Hi, everyone. Hello. So just going to take a few minutes there so that others can join. Thank you for joining in today. Welcome to NCO Healthcare Consulting Masterclass and Navigating Your Nursing Career in Ireland. My name is Olayinka Aremu. So if you're joining either on LinkedIn or on YouTube, will you just let me know where you're joining from? Just put in the chat box there. You can also share these as well on your timeline with your friends so they can join us. So your name and your country of joining, where you're joining from. Very well. Hi. I know we've all been waiting for this. It's been a long time, right? Yeah, so we are here today. I'm sure that you have a lot to gain and to get from this particular session, this live session. So we are on LinkedIn at the same time we are on YouTube. So if you're sharing anything, just share the YouTube link. I think that will be more better. Yes. Very well. Thank you for joining. Just in 2 minutes and then we will start. Hi, Rhoda. Hi, Justina. Okay, trying to see if I can see the live. Hi, Mahmoud from UK. Okay, so just before I get started, if you have any question, you can drop your question in the chat box. I will see your question live. The other thing you can do is to send the question to my email, nursecoachola@gmail.com. Thank you for joining. So in another 1 minute, we're going to start. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to NCO Healthcare Consulting. Again, my name is Olayinka Aremu, and here we have, Masterclass Navigating Your Nursing Career in Ireland. So if you're just joining again, just drop in your name and where you're joining us from. I just said if you have any question, specific question or personal questions, you can drop it in the chat box. So I'm dedicating the next 1 hour to answering your questions and to talking you through how you can navigate your nursing career in Ireland. Either you are a resident in Ireland or you are from the overseas. So it's going to be a wonderful time here today. So you can send your question to nursecoachola@gmail.com. Nurse coach ola@gmail.com, all together. Okay. I'm just trying to buy some time for some other people that might want to join. Don't mind. So yeah, let's get on to it. So how can you navigate your nursing career in Ireland? So today I hope to cover the steps of becoming a registered nurse in Ireland, how you can navigate the Irish healthcare system, and study opportunities for nurses in Ireland. What are the essential requirements and documentation that is required? And to give you some tips for a smooth relocation process. And like I said, all your question and answer within this next 1 hour will be answered. So you can drop it in the chat box, either on YouTube or on LinkedIn, or you can send it directly to my email, nursecoachola@gmail.com. Also, let us know where you're joining from and your name. Thank you. So to start with, I'm just going to introduce my company, NCO Healthcare Consulting, under which platform I'm providing this. So we are a premier healthcare consulting company here in Ireland and also registered in Nigeria, dedicated to enhancing the efficiency, effectiveness, and quality of healthcare organizations worldwide. And how we do this is by providing excellent services through healthcare operational management, recruitment, and training. Some of our services are still not active, but these are what we set out to do. So it is within the radar of the healthcare recruitment and training, so to say, that this training is coming up. You can find us on, we have a website, NCO Healthcare Consulting. And then you can follow us on our social media platform for updated information regarding our services and what we do. I'm the CEO of NCO and also the founder, and it's been a pleasure reading our services. So going back to what we are here to do today, basically how you can navigate your nursing career in Ireland. And I say this because I've been receiving a lot of requests, a lot of queries, questions, requests for mentorship and career guidance as well when it comes to practicing as a nurse in Ireland. As a matter of fact, just for history purpose, I relocated to Ireland 7 years ago as a registered nurse, and ever since, it's been. I'm grateful, and currently I'm an assistant professor in nursing in UCD here. So it didn't just happen in a day, it took a long process. So, and a lot of nurses also struggle with that. They're looking for career guidance, they're looking for, that support and mentorship on how they can move their career forward. So, as a nurse mentor myself and the founder of NCO Mentorship Academy, we've mentored a lot of nurses who are currently residents in Ireland and practicing, and some on their way as well. But over time, due to work schedules and pressures, I could not take on any one-on-one mentorship or even follow up with groups. So I've decided today to make this public, and as many people that will benefit from it, they will benefit from it. And need me to say that a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of YouTube content online, Google, that you will find, a lot of groups that you will find. So I would say just please do your due diligence, irrespective of all the information you get. The onus, the responsibility still lies in your hand to do your due diligence. But I would say 100% that every information that I will be providing here are up to date, and they are relevant, and they are true and not false. As a matter of fact, this particular masterclass is not affiliated to the NMBI or to any agency or to any employer here in Ireland. And as a form of disclaimer as well, I'm not an immigration agent, so I do not provide immigration services. I could advise and guide you on what to do. For the North to Ireland mentorship, which we started in the NCO Mentorship Academy. So what we do is a do-it-yourself mentorship pathway where we will show you and guide you on how you can go through the process of relocating to Ireland from whatever country that you are from. But like I said, for a while now, we have not been providing that service actively. So due to manpower, and that is why I am offering this freely rather than, going through the paid North to Ireland mentorship program. That being said, that in the North to Ireland mentorship program will still come back fully very soon, but just take this as a free gift from me to you. So to work in Ireland as a nurse, so you either come into the work pathway, or you come into the study pathway. So because people are, what can I do? So you can come in to work. That means you're already a registered nurse. You can come in to study. You might already be a registered nurse, or for some people, their primary degree was not nursing, but they want to study nursing. So you can come in to study in a different pathway. So I'm going to explore this today as much as I can. Why Ireland? I thought it's important to share this because a lot of people like myself, I would say about 8 years ago, I didn't know anything about Ireland. If you ask me what Ireland is, I would say is the ISLAND, that's the island. I would just think it's an island. But yes, it's an island, but it's in the Western Europe. It is a country on its own. Ireland is not in the UK. Okay, it's in the west of the Great Britain, and the capital is in Dublin. It has a green landscape, and that's where the Emerald Eye, which is the nickname, comes from. Ireland is a very beautiful country. We have rolling hills, rugged coastline, iconic landmarks like the Cliff of Moher. We have a lot of tourist centers, so many attractive tourist centers. Ireland is beautiful. Historically, the rich Celtic heritage. You have a lot of historic monuments that you can, that are available in Ireland. And culture-wise, the Irish love literature, music, folklore, and they're very warm when it comes to hospitality. Ireland is a very peaceful country, irrespective of the worldwide outrage right now, war and all that. Ireland is peaceful and relatively a safe country. I think which was one of the reasons why I chose to stay in Ireland, despite the fact that I had other options. So again, like I said, Ireland is not in the UK. It's a country on its own. And a lot of people confuse it with Northern Ireland. So Northern Ireland, on the other part, is a part of the UK. Economy-wise, yes, Ireland is a modern country with diverse population, and they have very strong sectors in technology, healthcare, pharmaceutical, and tourism. So you can imagine how beautiful and industrious the country is. So the reasons to consider working or studying in Ireland as a nurse, I need to stress this. And again, that doesn't mean that other countries don't offer the same, but I would say Ireland is of high demand now. High demand due to the global, I would say the pandemic, global pandemic of migration. So a lot of nurses, a lot of people are looking to relocate, to travel to another country, greener pasture, so to say. So Ireland is in high demand, not just for nurses, but for almost all the, you know, professional occupation that you can think of. So that makes it very, very, industrious, lucrative, and also diverse. There's a lot of quality education here in Ireland. If we look at the the QI rating, for universities or for education, Ireland happened to be in the first five or first 10, so to say. The likes of the Trinity College Dublin, the University College Dublin, which I am part of. I belong to the two biggest universities here in Ireland, Trinity and then the UCD. Competitive salaries. So Ireland, the currency is euro. So you can think about the aid. So it's a very high value currency, and their salaries are competitive compared to the likes of like the UK and other European countries as well. Cultural experience. Ireland, they're very rich in cultural experience. They're very agricultural focused, self-developed country, grooming their own products and and vegetables and agricultural products like that. So culturally as well, they're very homely, family focused, and so on. So Ireland is a good place. Another reason why you should consider is career advancement. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to advance in your career. And like I said earlier, Ireland is relatively safe country to live in, and a place where you can confidently say you want to raise your children. Now, what are the steps to work as a nurse in Ireland? Now, I'm going to say to work. Remember, I said work and study. So we're going to go into the study part later on. But I think most people are more interested in the work pathway. So those who are already registered. So first, that you need to check, are you eligible to work in Ireland? So anyone can be eligible to work in Ireland so long you are registered in the country of your residence. That means the country where you got your nursing license, where you are registered with nursing board or nursing council, whatever way you call it, in that country where you were trained. So that's the first eligibility. And your registration needs to be active, and be sure that you haven't had any criminal record or anything misconduct or so on. So all these are what is very important for eligibility. Age-wise, there's no documented age restriction when it comes to eligibility, but it's also very important for you to think about the retirement age as well, and likelihood of being employable when it comes to age. Right. So before I continue, I just want, for those that just joined, can you just let us know where you're joining from in the chat button? And if you can share this as well to your platform as much as possible so that a lot of people will get this information. Thank you. So that's about the eligibility, right? And now let's talk about the next step is English proficiency. So like many other countries, so to register as a nurse in Ireland, because Ireland is an English-speaking country, though they have their indigenous language, Gaelic. That's what they speak, but English is the official language. So Ireland is English-speaking. So you need to be able to demonstrate that you can communicate competently in English. So that's where your English proficiency testing comes to play. So IELTS, which is the English language testing, and then the OET are acceptable in Ireland. So OET or IELTS, so you can, and it is IELTS academic. I need to stress that, not general for Ireland. So for IELTS, you need to score an overall of 7, overall of 7 with only one 6.5 in any one module with, overall 7. That's for the IELTS with 6.5 in any one module. That means, you have the listening, speaking, writing, and reading. So you can only score 6.5 in one module, then the overall still need to be 7. And for the English language proficiency as well, Ireland, the NMBI, which is the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Ireland, does not accept combination. You combining 2 results, right? So it had to be in one sitting. And for the OET as well, so the same way, you can have 1C plus in any of the module. So thank you for joining. I see majority are joining from Nigeria. That's interesting. Yeah, so that's about the English language, and it had to be valid. Remember, so your IELTS or OET result need to be valid. Make sure that there is no fraudulent activity wherever you took your test from, because that will be checked. Right, so that's about the English language proficiency. It needs to be active. I know there's a lot of people having issues that they are in the process of they're getting decision letter or getting registered, and their English language proficiency get expired. So that means you need to write another one. So unfortunately, that's where we are. You need to write another one. Now, once you are sure of that, that you have an English language proficiency test, or you are in the process of getting one, then you can start your NMBI application. So for those who haven't checked before, now you can just go to Google and type nmbi.ie. NMBI. In fact, it's going to pop up without the .ie. We're going to see. Then you can go into that website and go on that registration. So if you click registration, you will get a lot of information, which part of it I'm going to share today. But I would say whatever I'm giving you here is just a summary of it. So detailed information is available on the NMBI website, right? So this is I just want to talk through the steps. So once you get your NMBI registration done, and or the recognition process applying, and they will review all your application and documentation, which I'll talk about later, you receive a decision, and the decision will either be for you to complete an adaptation, or for you to do an aptitude test, which is like an examination. And once you go through that, then you do your registration, and within that you can start looking for employer, apply for visa. Once all that is sorted, then you relocate into Ireland, and you are in Ireland. So welcome to Ireland. All right, so that's about the steps. So let's take it bit by bit. So overview of all the application process. Some of you might already be aware of this, right? So don't worry, just pay attention till we get to where you'll be more interested in. But for the sake of those who are just knowing this for the first time, so either you went to a school of nursing, a university, a degree, a college of nursing, whatever name they call it, you are eligible to work in Ireland. So like they say the diploma nurse or those with RN, so you can register as well. You don't necessarily need a degree, a BSc, to register to work as a nurse in Ireland. Though a degree has its own advantage as well, but you don't necessarily need that. What you need is your certificate of registration as a nurse, right? So there are 2 steps to this registration process, application process with the NMBI, which is the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Ireland. So there is the recognition of qualification, where they want to see, does your qualification suit or come close or being applicable to the Irish qualification, the curriculum and all that. So they're going to go through your documentation, your training, curriculum, and transcript as well, and see, is this any way close to what is obtainable in Ireland? And this is the reason why they're doing this, to make sure that they uphold the standard of education, which is very important. And once you've gone through the recognition process, and then you will get your registration done. So you apply. But between this, some people, like I said, you don't need to have IELTS before you start your recognition process. But I will advise that it is better you have it, or you know that you're going to write it within that time and get your IELTS or OET result. Now, why is a lot of people kind of delayed their writing, their IELTS or OETs? Because of the 2 years validity, because the recognition process could take a while, up to 6 months, and then the registration again, you will need the IELTS by the time you want to register. So if you have it before you start your registration, it's a plus, because you won't have to wait before you get your IELTS for your registration. So you can go straight to that. Okay. Now, the recognition process, like I said, very simple way. I'm going to share my screen now just for you to see how easy peasy it is for you to start your registration. But then again, it could be cumbersome, and a lot of people could make mistakes. So that's why it is important that you get some guidance if you cannot go through it yourself. Okay, so 1 minute, I'm just going to share my very screen now. Okay, so this is the NMBI website page, for registration, and you can see home complaint standard and guidance, what we do, education. So if you go to registration, right, and these are the details. Like I said, there are a lot of information, and I'm going to advise you to download this applicant user guide, as well as the registrant user guide. Very important. You can also download first time login user guide. All these are guides that can help you, right? But what I want to show you is you come to this right top, my NMBI. So for you to start your registration, you will have to register, create an account. So if you create a new account here, so please create a new account. It's going to ask you for some pre-qualifying questions, which are very important. Have you been registered or the NMBI registered before? Yes or no? Are you already on the candidates register? Do you have any application in process? So if all of this is no, it will you submit, and then it will bring you in. Okay. So that is first. So you need to log into my NMBI, set your account, answer the pre-qualifying questions, and then you will get the list of documents will be presented to you, if you go through that. So now talking about documents. So there are essential documents, and some of these documents, need to be certified. When I say certified, or they also call it notarization. So the NMB has provided a list of the people who are qualified to certify, like a lawyer, a solicitor, commissioner of oaths, or commissioner of peace, or you have to go to, there are specific people who can do this. So you can check within your region on who can certify your documents. And the documents that need to be certified are your identity document, like your passport photograph, passport, international passport page need to be certified. If you have any means of identification, but usually your international passport, and evidence of change of name, or your birth certificate, or your marriage certificate, or newspaper, anything that you use to change, if you ever change your name, right? That's very important. Your qualification certificate, remember this, usually you have it non-laminated. So that's your certificate, maybe your RN, your BSc, diploma certificate, whatever it is. So you need that. You need your transcript. So this transcript will be provided by your school or your college or your university of training, usually from your department. And this is a professional transcript, which is different from the academic transcript, right? And that also need to be certified, right? Sometimes the school might have to send it themselves. So if the school is sending it straight to the NMBI, then you do not need to certify that, since they'll be providing their stamp. But if you are in a situation, maybe your university already gives that to you and you are the one sending it, then you might need to certify it. Okay, if there's any way your documents are not in English, that need to be translated and also certified. So there are details of this guidance are available once you download the applicant guide. You also need your certificate of current professional status, or what they call verification of license or certificate of good character, which I know it's a major challenge now, especially for nurses from Nigeria who are in the process of, registering to practice in Ireland. We'll talk about that later. IELTS or OET, like I said, you do not need to certify this. And proof of professional experience, like your work experience. So one thing you have to do, you'll be able to download a work form which you will take to your employer, and your employer will complete the form, and then you bring this and then you upload it on your NMBI page. Remember I said you create an account, so every other thing there will have to be submitted, or the document will be submitted through the NMBI page. So that's the recognition. Before I leave I'm going to come back to the NMBI page once again. And what I want to do, okay, just 1 second. So I'm just going to be showing you again share my screen. Once you are on your page, on your NMBI page, what can happen? So that's about this. So I hope you can see. So if you already have an account, like myself, if you already have an account there, then you can go in and it will bring you to your page. So this is what it looks like, your own account. Overseas recognition, overseas registration. So you're going to start with overseas registration, a recognition here for a start. Once you get through that process, then you come to registration. So I'm just going to come here to applications. So if you have any application pending, so this is how you can see, like this is my annual renewal and so on. So this is how you go through the process, right? I'm just going to come here because I was trying to do my midwifery registration at some point. So you'll be able to put in your details, your personal details, qualification pathway, required documents, and then make the payments. So that's how you go through this, right? Okay, so let me come back here. So that's about the recognition. So once you have gone through the recognition process, you will be given a decision, and either to do adaptation or to go through aptitude tests. So once all the required documents has been obtained, you pay the fee of 350 euros, which is the recognition fee, and then you wait for your possible outcome. Because usually your assessment will be done within 90 days. So that's within 3 months. It's very fast now. Even some people get assessed within a week. So the NMBI they're really putting a lot of effort into, expediting all the process. So once you get your decision letter, it will tell you if, now I'm going to, not just for countries like Nigeria, there are other countries, maybe you are coming from the US or from the UK, you might not need to go through all, you still go through the first step, but the decision might just be you can go straight to recognition, to registration, and you don't have to do any adaptation or aptitude test. So depending on what your decision letter says. So you follow through. So if your decision letter, which is commonly for countries, the G3 countries, which Nigeria and some other African countries or India are part of, you will need to do aptitude tests or adaptation. So the aptitude test is the exam pathway, right? I'm going to jump into that now. So the aptitude test here, there's a theory part, which is like an MCQ, which is computer based, but need to be done here in Ireland. So the aptitude test, you definitely need to be in Ireland or be able to travel to Ireland to do that. And a lot of people go through this pathway of self-sponsorship as well. So this is something that people decide to sponsor themselves and pay for the exams. So the exam, is an RCSI aptitude test and OSCE. It's about 2,008 euros, and some people pay for it. Some employers, if you already had an employer, can pay for it as well. And so you have the MCQ, which is the theory part. And once you pass the MCQ, you will be able to be invited to write the practical, which is the OSCE. Right, that's the part 2. And once you pass, then you can go to the registration phase. The other option there is the adaptation. And the adaptation requires you to, like an internship, so to say, practice and, under the guidance and supervision of other nurses in some pre-qualified or registered adaptation centers here in Ireland, hospitals, usually public hospitals. So there are 3 phases to that: pre-adaptation, the period of adaptation itself, and post-adaptation. And the adaptation pathway has actually been recently updated, by NMBI after a series of improvements has been put in place just to make sure that the process is smooth for adaptation, for nurses on adaptation. So once you get through those 2 processes, or you just told to go to registration, then you go back to your account and log in. You answer some of the questions as well. And it is at this point that you'll be asked to provide your English language competency, results, either IELTS or OET. Remember that it must still be valid at that point in time. So valid means that it is not yet expired and it is not close to expiring, so to say. So remember, IELTS or OET is valid for 2 years. So you need to keep that in mind. And they'll ask you to submit some usually the documentation that might be required there is to make sure again that your verification of license is still active. Usually verification of license is valid for only 6 months, right? And it is possible that that period is also reduced. We are still, there's been some advocacy, regarding that, on how that can be extended. But as it is now, it is only valid for 6 months. That's your verification of license. So if you had your verification of license done during the recognition process, and by the time you are doing your registration, there's an ample time there, it should still be valid. But peradventure, maybe there was a delay and it is expired, you'll be required to provide a new verification of license, which is a major challenge now for countries like Nigeria, Zimbabwe, who, their nursing board are not providing the verification at the moment due to some systemic issues, right? So that's about that. But let's talk about the normal one. So once they go through your documents, you'll be asked to pay the registration fee, which is 145 euros. Now, if you're doing all the calculations, so you have a 350 euros, if you have self-sponsoring, you're paying a 2008 for the exams, and then you have 145 euros for your registration. So if you are self-sponsoring, right? And that's exclude your personal, cost of running things, of getting your paperwork and all that. Now, once you are done with this and they've verified, they've gone through all your process, then you will have possible outcomes like you are now registered. They might ask you to submit some missing documents, and in some cases, registration could still be refused, if maybe you didn't meet up with some requirements or so. The last two outcomes are provisional and can be appealed. So you can always appeal. So if you receive a registration outcome that says it is negative, don't just leave it. You can appeal, and usually some appeal will come positive. Right. So that's about the registration. Okay. Now, please drop your questions if you have any challenge or any question in the registration phase, or if you put in the chat box there, if you're already in the process, what phase are you at the moment when it comes to you registering to practice as a nurse in Ireland? So what phase are you at the moment? Just drop it. Are you contemplating, or are you planning to, or you are seeing the ideation phase, or are you already in the process? Have you submitted your documentation? Are you waiting for verification, or you have a decision letter, or you're looking for jobs? So please drop that in the comment section. I'll be waiting to see that. So now, once you gone through all the registration process, we are still talking about work. The next thing is for you to get an employer. And I'll tell people, don't wait till you have a decision letter before you start looking for employer. While you are in the process, you can start looking for potential employer and let them know that you're in the process, you are in the process of registration, right? So getting a job as a nurse in Ireland, first of all, you need a decision letter. You can get a job if you have a decision letter. That means maybe you don't even have your PIN yet, but you have a decision letter that says that, well, you can practice in Ireland if you do aptitude test, or you do adaptation or something like that. So you need that. You need a valid IELTS or AET. Most employers or agency will ask for this. That's because they don't want any story that touched the heart. And some will insist on some work experience. So some people have asked me, do you need work experience to practice, before you can get a job? Yeah, yes and no. So majority of employers will be asking for a work experience. They might say, and depending on the advertised role again, maybe the advertised role is a theater nurse. Of course, they might be looking for somebody who has experience working in the theater, right? And maybe the role is in Brenner, so they might be looking for experience. So it's of more advantage if you have some level of experience. Okay. Now, and work experience, why there are some people who say, what about my NYSC experience for those in Nigeria where we have the National Youth Corps compulsory 1 year? So that you can provide that as well as a work experience. That was what I used. I think that was the only clinical experience I had before I relocated. Because before I relocated to Ireland, I was working as a nurse tutor. So I didn't have clinical experience, so to say. I had teaching experience in a classroom. So I had to use my experience while I was in NYC, where I worked in a hospital. So your youth service, your internship, all those, once you put all those in your CV as well, they can be regarded as work experience. You need a good CV to get a job, a good CV. Like I said, you need to be able to document all your experiences, your teaching, your learning experience, and as a student, and then all, of course, where you have worked, volunteering, community work, anything that you have done. You need a good CV that will be tailored to the job that you're applying for. Now, you start searching for agencies. There are a lot of agencies out there, but one of the challenge that we have now, as many of you that know already, is the issue of the red list, WHO red list, which has actually discouraged so many agencies, some of which I was working with before, from recruiting from certain countries which are on the the 33 countries who are on the red list. So this has caused some discouragement because the WHO has, emphasized the fact of ethical recruitment in certain countries, especially major countries majority of the countries from Africa as well, due to the healthcare workforce shortages in this country, right? So that is a major challenge. So, but there are still agencies who will take up So it is very important that you do extensive search and do not give up. It could be very tiring. I have a lot of mentees who are, we have been looking for jobs for them for months, right? And going to years due to this. Some have actually scaled through eventually, and some are still in it. Some have to change their country of interest. So it could be very challenging, and I need to be honest with that. But again, why there is no active recruitment from these countries on the red list, you can still apply directly. You can do direct applications to hospitals, do direct applications to nursing homes, private, hospitals as well. And still enlist yourself on agencies because anything can change at any point in time. It is very important that you make sure that your CV stands you out. All right. So now, still talking about job search, I've talked about there are several agencies. So again, like I said, um, this is not any promotion, any internet promotion for any agency. Just at the top of my head, agencies like CPL, Servisource, which are kind of the most popular in Ireland. Servisource, CPL. You have bowlers, right? The bowlers are there. You have good people. So if you just check online, KPL, there's a lot of agencies. OSPs are there, Clarity. So many agencies like that. So what you just have to do is to talk to them, send them an email. Most of them are advertising as well, so you can reach out, and some have some Telegram groups that you can join just to get information. So I would say agencies, they make things easier once the job is available and you are eligible, and so you go for agencies, look for them, make sure that they are not charging you. So one thing about Ireland is that no agency will ask you to pay to get a job. I need to say that again. Do not pay any agency to get a job. If any agency is promising you a job and asking you to pay, it is fraud. It is illegal in Ireland, So it's different from guidance or mentorship programs or so. That's different, But when somebody is promising you a job and asking for money, it is fraud. Okay, so be very, very careful. So agency, and then you can apply directly to through Irish Jobs. So irishjobs.ie, irishjobs.ie. I'm just going to put that there, irishjobs.ie, as you can see on my screen, and just sign up there, and you can sign up for notifications and all that. Be on the lookout when you go to irishjobs.ie, and let me see if I can share the way the screen is here for irishjobs.ie, which are very, very, very good link to get jobs. Okay, I will answer the questions. You can just drop the questions. So this is irishjobs.ie, and you can just put in nurses or staff nurse or something, and you can search, and you will find so many opportunities. So I would say be on the lookout. You see, this is CPL. This is an agency, so they are recruiting for this particular Excel recruitment, TTM. So this is another way where you can get the names of the agencies that are recruiting. And mind you, there are some agencies that only recruit within Ireland. Maybe they are banking, all this agency work, and not necessarily international recruitment. So be mindful of that as well. Right, like this Allied and clinical healthcare recruitment, they are majorly agency, they recruit agency staff. So if you go through this, you will see Ed Hunt International as well. So that's another agency. So if you go through, you will see the names of the popular or the common agencies. You might not find some agencies here, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. Okay. So I'm emphasizing more on the job because I know that's the major challenge of most people. Then you can go to HSC jobs as well. So there is Irish jobs, there's hscjobs.ie, nursing homes. You can just type nursing homes in Ireland and go to each one of them. If you have a particular location where you would like to stay that you know of, you can go to nursing homes in that location, like nursing home Dublin, nursing home Waterford. If you don't know, you can just put it nursing home Ireland. And there is a nursing home Ireland page, the organization, and you can go to the list of all the nursing homes and go through their website. So this is where you need to do your due diligence as well. And agency will boycott all this stress for you and just come to you. But if you don't want to go through agency, or even alongside with going through agency, you can do some searches yourself, because some hospitals or nursing home recruits directly. They have their own recruitment platform, and you can recruit straight there. Like St. James Hospital, will have their own recruitment, and they hardly will they be going through agencies. So LinkedIn is another place. Now, if you're not on LinkedIn and you're a nurse, we will fight. Okay, that's another. I'm going to be doing a masterclass on LinkedIn for nurses, which is very important. You can get jobs. My last 3 jobs, including the one I'm currently in, I got them through LinkedIn, right? So if you go to LinkedIn, you have a profile on LinkedIn. You can always see jobs and just put the kind of job you're looking for. Put your CV there as well. So, and you can get jobs through LinkedIn. And you can also use LinkedIn to, most of these agencies, all these organizations are on LinkedIn as well. You can follow them for updates for any jobs that comes. And that's another way to put yourself out there. Indeed jobs, Rosemo, all these are platform, jobs.ie, and like I said, some private hospitals. You can most private hospitals will use agencies, but there are some that still, like Beacon Hospital, Born Secure, they will recruit directly. Okay, so before I go to study opportunities, I'm going to answer one question there in the chat box. Said, please, how would I know NMBI has received my CCPS since it's been submitted? So you can send an email to NMBI to confirm if they have received. That's one way. You can send them an email. Again, it should show on your account that this document has been received. It's going to show on your NMBI page that it has been received. But the best way to also confirm is to send them an email. Is that okay? Send an email. If you know the date it was sent or something like that, you can quote that day and just for them to confirm. Okay. I'm just going through the chat box to see if there's any question relating to work. There. Okay. I'm just going to be checking LinkedIn as well to see if there is any question in the link. Yeah. Okay, just 1 second. What are the requirements needed to join the masterclass to be? So you're already in the masterclass, right? And for now, we are not taking any nurse to Ireland mentorship. I have gotten my decision letter, but I have not been able to get an employer. So I think I've talked through how you can get a job, and I know it could be challenging, but just keep at it and don't relent. Okay, so I think I've taken those questions. No, I'm going to move on to study. Good, all right, because of our time. Now, just take a minute and see if I've covered to work. But that's just literally what it requires for you to work in Ireland as a nurse. And I know that the greatest challenge is getting an employer. And let me just quickly also talk through the self-sponsorship pathway. Right. I say self-sponsorship because as it, because of the nature, the WHO and all that. So if you can get yourself into Ireland to write the exam, right? Once you have your PIN, you'll get a job. Once you have your PIN. Now we have nurses. I've had some of my mentees that actually got their PIN, why very rare. So I think I have about two or three who got their PIN while they were in Nigeria. Like they didn't have to do aptitude test, or they didn't have to do adaptation. And that's for some reasons. I don't know, right? What separated them and set them apart. But that's one. For the self-sponsorship, like I said, you must be willing to be able to pay for your exams. The only way self-sponsorship work is through the aptitude test. That's the exam pathway. Once you have a decision letter, but even with that, you might still need the let me just go to the RCSI page. So for you to book the exam, the RCSI now is now requesting that you need to have AWS with the atypical work permit. So the atypical working scheme permit is what you have to bring in. It's like a permit that you want, a temporary visa, so to say, a temporary visa for you. And usually it would be like you're coming for a training or you're coming to write an exam. So the RCSI is requesting for that. And the AWS now, they're now saying that for you to get an AWS, you need to have an employer, or there are conditions to getting an AWS. One of the conditions is that you need to have a contract, a contract of employment. And how can you get a contract of employment if you don't have an employer? So that is kind of the dilemma that is there. Some people will bypass the AWS and just apply for exam visa. So now bear in mind, you can go there. If you go to the immigration website, like there are different ways you can travel to Ireland. So you can go to the exam visa, but they will require you to submit, what exam you must have booked for the exam. That means you must have paid for the RCSI, you must have gotten a confirmation of the date and time, and then you submit that. The flights, the accommodation, everything, you have to be able to sort that. And because it's an exam visa, you are not allowed to say you want to move your family also. So you need to prove that you can actually go back to your country. Do you understand? Because you're coming for an exam. So you're coming for an exam, that doesn't mean that you have to move everything you have. So I'm just telling you these chances, chances whereby you get your a visa to come in to write the exams through the self-sponsorship pathway. Right. So once you come in, you're able to get all your flights, all the visas sorted, and then you write your exam. So usually between 2 weeks, you will have completed the aptitude test and the OSCE. If you pass, why majority pass anyways. So once you pass, within that time, you can apply for registration, pay your 145, get all your documents, and if you can get your PIN, then you can start looking for a job. And what if you get a job within that 6 months, or the duration of the exam visa that you have, it's possible that you convert your exam visa, then you convert it to a work permit, right? So if your employer can provide you a work permit, so you might not have to travel back, right? But in some cases, some people will have to travel back, and then once you have an employer, then you come back. So that's about that. It's a bit very, very complex, complicated for a lot of people, especially, like I said, those whose verification of license has expired, those in Nigeria now who have to get a new verification. Some their IELTS got expired along the line and they're still waiting for jobs. But my charge and my encouragement for you will be, do not give up. Just keep at it. And again, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So some people are trying to work, and since the work pathway is not working, they going through the study pathway, which I'm going to go into shortly now. Okay, so now let's go into the study pathway. I'm looking up and down all the pages to get questions. So in case you see me going, looking up and down. Now, to study in Ireland, and I'm going to start this from afresh. I'm trying to answer all the questions I've been asked as well. So some people just want to start nursing from beginning, they're interested in nursing. And I would say if you are already resident in Ireland, this will apply to you, a pre-nursing courses. So there are people who are in Ireland already here, and maybe they had a first degree in another thing and they want to do nursing as second degree, or they're even starting afresh, maybe from a carer, and then you want to go into, there's a pre-nursing course that there are some organizations offering the pre-nursing courses and even some universities as well. So once you go through that pre-nursing course, and then you can now start nursing. It's important that I mention that, okay? Now, for international nurses, okay, maybe you're already a nurse in your country, now you want to come to Ireland to practice. For those who had RN, you had just diploma, you can come to Ireland to do your BSc, right? You can do your BSc ons, or some would say BSc top up, programs, usually within a year. Then you can get your BS a year or 18 months or so. So that is the undergraduate pathway. So you can come from wherever country you had to do your BSc here. If you had an RN before, you already had an RN. And some people will come, their background is not nursing and they want to do a BSc. So for those people, very limited schools here will offer, that's bridging pathway. I know of Angelia University here in Sligo. They offer some bridging, so something like nursing management or something like that. So you can come into nursing. Maybe you had your first degree in chemistry. It has to be science related, so to say, anyways. Now that's that. Or the other one is the mature nursing pathway. So we have people who just want to start nursing even after degree. So they are like over 25 or so. So you can go through the mature nursing pathway. But the mature nursing pathway, there's an exam that you have to write, and then if you score a certain score, then you will be able to start nursing fully like a BSc, 4 years as it is here, right? And the other pathway is postgraduate. So if you're in Ireland, and I always encourage, this is how you can get ahead as well. Need to do, for those who are already in Ireland, you came with RN alone, you can do your BSc ons, BSc top up to have a degree. It gives you more opportunity, to advance in your career as well. So you can do a postgraduate diploma, a postgraduate certificate, just to up your game as well. And you can come in for MSc, even from international, you can come in for your master's. Usually will be within, some will say 18 months, some 2 years. Master's, we have 1 year master's actually as well. Or you could come for your PhD if you already had your master's before. So that's another pathway. And why in Ireland, you can take up some specialty courses. Maybe you want to be a CNS, that's you want to be a certified nurse specialist in renal, in diabetics, in rheumatology. So you take up all those specialty courses as well, and so on and so forth. So that is a study pathway. Now, for the study pathway, the challenge is usually the funding, because it's for a BSc, you'll be thinking of an average of 10,000 to 12,000 per year for the program. Yeah, for an international fee. That's the average. And for the postgraduates will be, between 11 and 13, some 15,000 as well. So for the postgraduate, you can have some opportunity for scholarship. which is very, very rare, but there are still some other funding, like maybe 1,000, 1,500 that are usually available in certain schools for international students, and you can benefit from that as well. So that's the study pathway. For study pathway, if you want to go through the study pathway, you definitely might need some guidance, especially when it comes to your paperwork and applying for visa. I've had nurses who want to come for a master's here or for a top up, and even though the university granted them everything, they had the offer, but they were denied the visa. Why? Because you can't say you want to come and study here. They will be checking all your work experience. They would do every investigation. I knew of someone that, even though everything was already set, but eventually realized that the CV was forged, so to say. That means the person said that he worked in a particular place where he didn't work. So just for you to know that they will investigate. So we need to be very careful. Now, how do you navigate the Irish healthcare system as a nurse? So I just put a few things together. You need to understand the structure. So the Irish healthcare system operates a person-centered approach as well as a multidisciplinary approach. So we have the public hospital, you have the private hospital, we have the nursing home, and nursing homes could be private or public as well. So that's kind of the structure. There are community healthcare settings as well, rehabs, and a lot of emphasis as well on, disability, intellectual disability, and so on as well here in Ireland. Majority of the patient population in Ireland are older people, so that's why there is a growing need for increased healthcare workforce due to the demand. So it's important that you know your scope of practice. Only work within your scope of practice. Very important. The care here is more patient-centered. That means we are not making decisions for the patient, that we're guiding them, we're providing the right information. So if you've been working in a country where decisions are made for patient, this will be challenging. You need to put that in mind, person-centered or patient-centered care. Collaborate with your team, multidisciplinary. This is not a doctor. There's no superiority or hierarchical nature of profession here, that a profession is subject to another profession. We work as a team here. So you need to also know that documentation is very important, like every other like nursing, which is very, very important. And staying informed, staying updated, it is your responsibility. For professional development as well, you need to show that zest of that you want to develop in your profession. Take courses, take initiatives, and so there are several courses, there are several programs that you can take. Cultural competence is very important. Like I said, Ireland is a diverse country, so I actually have a training on the cultural diversity and integration to help international nurses, to be well integrated into the Irish culture as well as helping the host nurses and managers as well to understand the different culture that overseas nurses are coming from, to help them to really integrate well. Now, like I said, there are a lot of resources. You must be able to learn to utilize these resources. Seek support when possible, and have fun while doing your work. I think this is just all that in, and just to say this, that because of my passion and my interest in international nurses, I recently virtually launched my book. The physical launch will be coming up September. New Not a Novice Nurse, which is a guide for international nurses to thrive abroad. And I talked about almost everything extensively about how you can thrive, what are the things you check. There are 10 chapters in that book. And I have a summary copy here that is free to download. I'm going to put the link right in the chat box there now, just for you to get a copy for yourself. And some of the information you find there will also be helpful. Okay, I'm just going to drop that as well on the LinkedIn, just so everyone has that. Okay, so that's about that. So it's very important that you also prepare for the cost of living. Now, the cost of living generally, I think it's globally, it's on the increase. And if you're looking for a job in Ireland, you need to start thinking about accommodation, which is key. In Ireland here, Dublin, which is the capital, very expensive. So you may also want to think about that, going outside of Dublin when it comes to jobs. Right. Make sure you get a job before you move, except if you're coming for exams. Your health and well-being is very important, which is why you need to seek for support. Don't overwork yourself. Overtime is okay, but take rest. Make sure that you're familiar with the legal and administrative requirements. Like I said, work within your scope of practice. Always try to network and provide support to other people as well. And like I said, enjoy the experience. And I'm sure that once you get this book, New Not a Novice Nurse, it is definitely a guide. There's a lot of testimony. If you go through my pages and my website, there's a lot of testimony. And one of the things that I think was very important for me from this book, because as part of writing this book, we started a podcast on international nurses sharing their experience and their story. And one response was, which I hold on, the person said that the book is just a validation that whatever she was going through, she was not going through it alone. You're not alone in that place. So it prepares you for the journey ahead and helps you to overcome challenges. I'll take that question once I finish this. So like I said, I just put the free a summary sample here. You can download the free copy and then you can order your own ebook or paperback via my website or through Amazon. If you just type New Not a Novice there, it's going to bring you. There are two, either you can go to the amazon.com or you can go to the amazon.co.uk if you are in the UK. So, and again, my website is ncohealthcareconsulting.ie, and we are here in Ireland. So thank you so much for your attention. I'm going to take that question there now. Please, for someone in Nigeria that already have IELTS, can one start registration while awaiting verification? Or it's better to wait till the portal is before starting the process? Yeah, so I would say for that, because again, you have a window, right? You have a window. If you start your registration, you open your account, there's a window. If you don't submit the documentation, they'll close it. You have to start all over again. So I would advise that you wait till the portal is open before you start. And I know that you're thinking about your IELTS as well. Yes, so it is very challenging. It's very tricky, right? But I'm also aware that there are some green lights regarding the portal being opened or so. So you might want to start, right? But just bear in mind that if within that window, I think it's about 90 days, if you don't complete all the paperwork or so for the recognition phase, it will close and you have to start again. So either way, like, it's not a lose, so to say, only that for the time that you're committed in putting the information, right? Thank you. I don't know if there's any, I would just check if there's any other question. Okay, so in the absence of no question, and that is the end of the navigating your nursing career in Ireland masterclass. So yes, the red list is still active according to the WHO, But the way the red list work is that there's no active recruitment, but you can apply directly to, to organizations. You can still keep on trying. The red list does not say that nurses cannot relocate. It's only telling the employers or recruitment agencies that they need to apply ethical recruitment. There need to be some, you know, ethics put in place when it comes to recruitment. So that just means that it's not active, there's no massive, mass recruitment, but you can still go through one-on-one, one-to-one like that. Given the situation of verification in Nigeria, what do you honestly advise? So I think I've mentioned a lot of that. Maybe you just joining is that number one, don't put your eggs in one basket, right? Explore different opportunities. Now, even if you want to travel to any country, you will need verification of license, right? So I would just say while you are waiting, so just consider this as a waiting period. While you are waiting, make sure you are gaining experience and you are documenting all those experience. Make sure you are enriching yourself, you are making yourself, you know, to be outstanding while you wait, so that by the time all this is cleared up and over, you can stand out, your application can stand out, your CV can stand out, so keep investing in yourself wherever you are. And just, I know it might be challenging and all that, frustrating, but just keep at it. Just imagine that, what if there's no opportunity to travel? Will I not survive? So just keep doing whatever you're doing and doing your best in nursing. It's very important that you invest in yourself whichever country that you are. So that would be my honest advice. Okay. I'll just still stay here for another 2 minutes for any question, if you have any question. And while I'm doing that as well, I'm going to check my email just in case anybody has dropped some personal. Okay, there's a titular just saying thank you for the platform. Okay, so thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best. And I need to mention this here. I need to mention that as part of our effort in NCO, we are also, for those who, you can benefit from this whichever country that you are from. You can join the Nurse Mentorship Academy, the Black Nurse Mentorship Academy. Yeah, you can join the NCO Mentorship Academy. So we have the Black Nurse Mentor Program. We're taking, you can sign up today and to get the mentorship. And this mentorship is not mentorship to jackpot, is mentorship for career progression, like bridging those gaps, empowering Black nurses to thrive in their professional journey. If it includes you, to Japa or you need to relocate, that's fine. But it is not central to relocation. It is central to your career development, your professional journey, wherever country you're practicing. And it's for all Black nurses and midwives. So you can sign up for that, check through the website and sign up for that. Okay, thank you so much. We're going to end this now. Again, you can share this with everyone that you know of. I think I've been able to answer a lot of questions now, and I am free for now. Thank you. If I have any other updates regarding jobs, please, you can follow me on LinkedIn. Udra, can you drop my LinkedIn? Let me see. I'll just drop it there. You can follow me on LinkedIn where I share updates. You can also follow me on Instagram, on YouTube. So I'm not so consistent on YouTube for now. And you can join my community. You can join our WhatsApp community as well. If Udra could share that, you can join our WhatsApp community where share up-to-date information as well. You can join as a mentor, and you can be a mentee for the Black Nurse Mentorship Program. You can sign up to be trained as a mentor. So there's a lot of programs that you can benefit from actually. So just stay connected, and I wish you the very best. Bye for now.